Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Alpha 3.1 is about to go to Evocati Testing, and then it's planned to go to a live release by the end of March. And the plan for releases in the future is to have a major patch every 3 months, quarterly releases basically, with the minor patches and hotfixes also being released as and when they're ready to. This does lead to a roadmap where features do get moved around, and Network Bind Culling is one of those features that has slipped from 3.1 to 3.2 now in June. So what is the Network Bind Culling feature in this context? It's network code fixes and updates to help improve performance in multiplayer by cutting down the amount of entities that exist on clients. Entities too far away from players will be removed from the local client, and when players move or the server otherwise detects new entities entering the player's range, they will be added to the client. Because clients will only consider updating entities that are near to them, the overall CPU load will reduce and performance should improve. It's basically part of a larger set of important features that we're getting the Star Citizen this year, and it's hopefully going to give us some big gains in regards to network optimization, or at least it's part of the gains package that we need to have a more optimized Star Citizen experience, and eventually have hundreds if not thousands of players all in the same server. On Spectrum, the Star Citizen forums, CIG's Clive Johnson explained more about the reasons that this feature got pushed back, and there are actually other network features that are going into 3.1 still. So the exact question that was asked was, what is the technical reason to push bind culling to the next version? And the reply was, we decided it was necessary to push bind culling back for the following reasons. Progress has been slower than we'd hoped, partly due to it taking longer than anticipated to convert the last few places in the code that were using the old style aspects and RMIs to serialized variables and remote methods, and then completely strip those legacy systems from the network code. That was a necessary step because we didn't want to have to implement bind culling for both the old and new systems. I'm not embarrassed to tell you, there was some dancing and a few air punches on my part when the last line of old code was deleted. Also, there wouldn't have been enough time left before 3.1 for the network and gameplay programmers to deal with the issues we're expecting the introduction of bind culling to cause. Bind culling would also result in clients streaming entities in and out based on distance, but without asynchronous object container streaming, it was always a gamble whether the resulting synchronous loading stalls would be worse or better than what players experience now. The plan was to get bind culling working, see what the impact on player experience was, and then make a call whether to turn it on for 3.1. Ranged-based serial variable culling was our backup plan in case bind culling didn't make it into 3.1. You may remember that we were working on SV culling or serialized variable culling for 3.0, but it wasn't quite ready in time. Well, it was the first thing we tackled when we came back at the start of the year and has been working on our development branch for several weeks now, not the branch that 3.0.1 was taken from though. SV culling already gives us a lot of performance gain that we would expect from bind culling, so the urgency for that feature has dropped significantly. The network team is needed for other tasks that we have increased in priority since they were first added to our schedule. So yes, it's definitely a shame that 3.1 won't have the network bind culling feature, but it's still getting range-based serialized variable culling and a slew of other optimizations that are core to the focus of that patch. Content-wise for 3.1, we are now looking at the character customizer, helmet polish and lighting improvements, planetary tech improvements, the service beacon distress calls, so you're going to be able to send out distress signals to other players, and they're about to travel to your position, you're about to share alpha UEC. There's going to be visor and HUD improvements and bug fixes, improvements to the flight control system, as well as the ESP and IFCS fixes, making basically flight control and ships move and aim as intended. There's going to be improvements to the vehicle manager and personal manager apps, a complete pass on ship weapons and missiles so they perform as expected, but also expect big meta changes. Ship damage overhaul is also coming with improved physics and better explosions and better damage shaders. They've improved ship AI with their conversion over to subsumption. The Reclaimer, Terrapin, Razor and Cyclone will all be in game. There's updates to the Omnisky and GT series of ship weapons, as well as a new distortion scattergun and a new FPS shotgun, and the core focus for this patch is performance optimization and improvements. The idea being to improve frame rates across the board, deal with degradation on servers, memory leaks and that sort of stuff as well. The tasks for optimization have increased a lot in the last week, which is a good indication that they are identifying items they can improve upon and should make for a much better 3.1 patch. All of the stuff that they wanted in 3.0 when it comes to UIs, performance gains, persistence, and all that sort of jazz is also making its way into 3.1 where possible, so we will see greater persistence, we'll see the logging in and out of where you logged out, you'll be able to log back in, that sort of stuff. So that should make for a much better game and much better game loops in the persistent universe. And there's still the potential that other items may be in 3.1 that haven't been mentioned yet, or others that are part of other systems that I did, or evolutions and iterations of ones we already have. So tell me what you think. Tell me if you're excited about 3.1. Tell me if you're taking a break from the project because, you know, it's an alpha. It can be quite stressful when you're like, oh, I want to play with my friends, but I can't, and stuff like that. So please tell me in the comments below what you think. Are you excited for 3.1 in March? Do you think they'll make that schedule? Because we don't know. We know it's the plan. We know it's very likely, but I mean, they might not. They might be pushed back by a few days or something. So please tell me what you think below. Every month we have a giveaway for a ship for February. It's an 890 jump donated by our featured org, Synchronizers. They're an org that plan to encompass all of the gameplay that Star Citizen has to offer. That said, they do oppose piracy, but they do seek members to add to their mature family of both casual and more hardcore players alike. There are no other restrictions on membership other than that, though, so check them out. They do have an active Discord and are playing Star Citizen now. All you need to do to win for a chance of winning that 890 jump, though, is be subscribed to my YouTube channel and then comment on any of my Star Citizen content during the month. Do you have any questions about Squadron 42 or Star Citizen development or anything we just talked about, or suggestions for other videos, chuck them in the comments below. A special thank you to my Patreons who allow me to create the amount of content I do. If you would like to become one of those lovely, generous chappies, then please find the links to Patreon as well as everything else we discussed down below too. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help me, and I'll see you in the verse.